This is a tangent, but the last two, though, slavery and misogyny, I'd like to have a go. If you understand that slavery in Roman times was more like a social class of workers, like how Karl Marx describes it, right? And we can see ourselves in this, right? There are owners and the people in debt. Like, I owe for my car, for my house, for my degree. I work for a company that indirectly pays for my debt. Of course, this is completely different than the slavery that happened in the New World, and that goes to my point. What Paul condones is completely different than what America has experienced with slavery. What Paul then advocates is regarding your bosses with all honor and giving your best work to them. Now, you might say that it's a false equivalency because even Roman slaves didn't have freedom like we modern people do. Yet all I need to remind you is that, one, there are bosses who abuse their power, at least sexually, and attack people's dignity and humiliate their employees, if not physically abuse them. Two, let's not pretend that immigrants, whether their stay is illegal or they came in illegally, are not in constant worry about being deported or not being able to find another job. We could apply the same pressures to ex-felons because almost no one hires them. So you have a population that is desperate to make ends meet and stay out of trouble, and you have businesses and bosses who exploit their circumstances. And these are the people who build our infrastructure and cook our foods in restaurants. Now, I'm not arguing that they are the majority of this workforce, but the entirety of this marginalized group has to work in these fields, if not turn to a life of crime, whether or not it's the minority of that workforce. So even today, we have undignified, exploited, underpaid, abused workforces. And all that's left for you to argue is what? What Kanye argued decades ago? That slavery is a choice, they could kill themselves or die trying to go back? And I'd say go back to what? War? Extreme poverty, cartel, corruption? I'm not judging what's right or wrong, but you need to stop pretending like we've evolved morally as a human species. The only thing that has evolved is technology. And you can whine all you want about the injustices and how gross it is, but that's all just empty words. Most of y'all never thought about it or never cared about it until I just mentioned it. And even now, you're not going to do anything about it. You're just going to be upset, which there aren't words for how that's messed up. You'll say you have no power to do anything, but weren't you just arguing that you're free to do whatever you want? So imagine in an age that even its first-class citizens don't have a say in what's going on in their countries. But I also have this to say. Don't you dare describe yourself as a second-class citizen if you're born in America. Because us actual, technical, according to the law, second-class citizens, us illegal immigrants, can't build wealth. We can't buy land. You can't take advantage of government benefits, can't choose our leaders, and with all of these things holding us down, we still have to pay taxes, just like you. And if you're wondering, no, I didn't just rat myself out. I've been under DACA for the last few years, but even that has its limitations. But this life that I'm describing is not only one that I'm familiar with, but I've seen it all around me growing up. And I still do see it. So anyways, the modern illegal workforce complex isn't so different than Roman slavery, is my point. As far as misogyny, I'm going to give context and also the benefit of the doubt to Paul, in the sense that there might be wisdom, and he doesn't mean it degradingly. I'm not here to argue whether it's right or not in this video. Maybe just give a different perspective and perhaps soften the blow. But think of a Socratic seminar. This is what the early church looked like. People in a circle sharing whatever they wanted, and there wasn't really structure, or very loose structure. People were talking over each other, contradicting each other in their prophecies and teachings, and maybe multiple irrelevant conversations happening parallel to the edifying of the church. It was complete and utter chaos. Some of us have been in churches with this kind of chaos. With this context in mind, the benefit of the doubt comes in. Okay, I believe men operate and have an innate currency of respect, and women operate and have an innate currency of love and care. When God curses Adam and Eve for their disobedience in Genesis 3:16, it says that for the woman, yet your desire and longing will be for your husband, and he will rule with authority over you and be responsible for you. So here we see a tension in the relational dynamic of a man and woman. And scholars say either the woman desires to be in control, but the man has the authority, or that the woman's desire for her husband would be frustrated by his role of authority that the man has. Either way, man's authority over the woman is the source of tension here. Now, how does this apply? In my experience, my short experience of life, the small percentage of women who are domineering, engaging totally in this desire to dominate, who refuse to accept the reality of life that all must submit to someone as a matter of respect and authority, these entitled women are always disparaging, rude, disrespectful. They emasculate men, they tear down fellow women, and we can all agree that women like this are not cute. It's gross. Now, obviously, telling a woman what to do is going to make them raise their voice. But if you didn't say anything, in modern churches, most humans adhere to the rules during a service anyways. Which brings me to the point. Every type of person with every type of problem will be challenged by the Bible. So in this context, I believe it's specifically the women who have the most problems with and are the most outspoken with these verses that need to wrestle with it the most. Because in my experience, most women get the gist. Saying something like, yeah, I kind of get it. I can't really explain it though. And then they move on with their lives, which I think is completely appropriate, if I can be honest. If you got to the end of this video, I appreciate it so much. The full video though is in the description down below. Please check it out, like, comment, do what you gotta do. I appreciate it. See ya.